Well, for more on what the latest tariff news means for the economy, let's welcome in now Brett Ryan, senior U.S. economist at Deutsche Bank Securities. Brett, you were listening. Walk us through your reaction, your response, and as an economist, Brett, as you're now trying to think through and model what this does mean for U.S. economic growth looking ahead.
Yeah, sure. So the tariffs were definitely worse than we had anticipated. We were calculating at the upper end of our range, potentially about anywhere from 15 to 20% was where the tariff rate could end up. And relative to what it is at present, with actions taken to date, which was around 12%, already up from 2.4% last year. This is north of 25, and I would say it's I haven't run all the numbers yet, but 25 to 30% is my back of the envelope calculation in terms of tariff rates. You're looking at that's the equivalent of a tax hike, and the question now is, what is the tax bill? The next step for the administration is, what are they going to include in their tax bill to help offset some of this? So. There's going to be a drag from growth from the tariffs, of course, if they remain in place. And that's the other factor that's hard to model is how long that these tariffs will remain in place. But if you do the math on, an annual basis, you're looking at an effective rate that takes us back to the 1930s, and the tariff revenue even with assuming some modest demand elasticities and growth is going to be, as Trump said, hundreds of billions higher than it was previously on an annual basis. So back of the envelope, I would say north of 500, maybe with demand destruction, 400 to 500 billion in tariff revenue, if you assume all these are collected and they remain in place on an annual basis.
Brett, sensible minds have tried to avoid lighting their hair on fire as they've been getting dribs and drabs of tariff output from Trump and new tariff ideas. And until now, the mainline forecasts have been, no, Trump tariffs will not cause a recession on their own. Are you rethinking that?
It's really difficult because on the face of it, you would say this would probably put U.S. growth at stall speed and possibly worse than that. So, yeah, perhaps not necessarily outright recession, but close to stall speed where you're more vulnerable. Again, I point back to what is the tax bill going to look like, and how much does that offset some of this? And do we also have room here for negotiations with other countries that can bring these down? So, it's tough to kind of model out. If somehow you take your top 5 trading partners and say, okay, we can negotiate these rates down, cut them in half, then it's a whole different ball game, and that could change at any minute. So. I wouldn't say it's outright recessionary. I would say that it certainly increases the risk of recession. And if you do the math, will probably bring growth 1% or below near stall speed.
Brett, thanks so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.